Hey out there, the one and all, it's the RazMan with another edition of the RazMansReality. Not a lot going on today. That's usually the case on the weekends. There's not a whole lot to talk about. But SmackDown last night was interesting for two reasons. I was confirmed by the SmackDown replay being in HD on Fox 45 on Time Warner Cable here in Dayton. Don't know if this was just a case of Time Warner being late in getting the full HD version of SmackDown for the replay on Fox, or if it was the case that a lot of stations kept the February 15th deadline of going digital, so perhaps they sent the copy to My Network TV, the HD copy, and then they put it on Fox since those two stations are run out of the same building. Whatever the case is, Time Warner added a bunch of new HD stations, including finally adding the CW in HD, which was the only major network that those of us here in Dayton did not have in high definition. So Smallville in HD, gotta love that. But anyway, SmackDown was pretty interesting. It opened up with Edge talking about making history and becoming the World Heavyweight Champion on the same night he lost the WWE Championship. Jeff Hardy comes out, challenges him to a world title match. Of course, Edge doesn't go for that, but he does get Vicky to make a non-title match in the main event on SmackDown. That was a tremendous match between those two. It ends up being a no contest as Matt Hardy interferes and tells Jeff it's him versus Jeff, Hardy versus Hardy, one-on-one next week on SmackDown. Now, this is supposed to be the match that is happening at WrestleMania. So could it be that WWE is thinking what I am, and that they really need one or both of the Hardys in the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania? So maybe they're going to go for Hardy v. Hardy next week on SmackDown. Maybe there'll be some kind of twist. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Also last night, Vicky Guerrero, quote-unquote, upset by the fact that two Raw superstars think they're worthy of challenging The Undertaker's unbeaten streak at WrestleMania. So, excuse me fans, I got a cough. It's a live show, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. But Vicky Guerrero is supposedly upset by two Raw superstars challenging for Undertaker's undefeated streak. So Vladimir Kozlov is going to be on Raw Monday night to confront JBL and HBK. And as expected, Triple H will be on Raw to continue the program with Randy Orton last night on SmackDown, or tonight on SmackDown, however you want to look at it if you're here in Dayton watching the replay. But it's still technically Friday night SmackDown, so it was last night. WWE revealed the fact that Triple H is indeed married to Stephanie, and they ended the quote-unquote storyline that they're not married. So that was a pretty interesting interview to watch. Now, like I mentioned in yesterday's blog, a lot of things at WrestleMania are up in the air right now because of one Mickey Rourke, which leads me into my Oscar predictions. Oscars are tomorrow night. Will Mickey Rourke and his holding off of agreeing or not agreeing to this match until he decides if he's going to win an Oscar or not, until the higher-ups in Hollywood decide whether he wins an Oscar or not, will that pay off? I think it will. I think Mickey Rourke will win an Oscar. He is my pick to win Best Actor in a Leading Film. My pick for Best Supporting Actor in a Leading Film is Heath Ledger as the Joker in Dark Knight. Beyond that, I'm not really picking anything because, as is typical for the Oscars. Like we talked about before, the Academy nominates movies that they think are quote-unquote good or quote-unquote, the industry type of movies. They seem to always ignore the movies that people actually watch, i.e. the fantasy movies like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future, movies that people actually watch. The Dark Knight is one of few movies I've seen in a long time that actually is getting a lot of attention from the Academy that people actually love. Would that have happened without the sweep at the People's Choice Awards this past year by them winning 8 awards? I don't know. But they were snubbed in a lot of categories, but recognized in some others. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on the Oscars tomorrow, as well as the race at Fontana, California, which begins at 5 p.m. on Fox. That's about all the time I have for today, so please continue to comment, rate, subscribe. Reminder that there's an ongoing poll question on this blog. What program should I use to create an intro video for the show? This is reality according to the RazMan and RazMan style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.